Thank you for coming. Sorry for the hiccup. Okay. Today I'm going to talk about the Singapore early maritime history. Okay, although this title is actually a request from the organizer, but we have discussed it and we agreed to have this title after a few exchange. Although the title is about although the title is mentioned about the China, but please keep in mind that in 7th century, the most influential culture in this area, in this region, is actually India, not China. In fact, I think that the China is understudy here. The connection between China and Singapore is understudy. So I pick up these topics and hope that I can contribute a bit of things here. Okay, and from the terms like Indo-China and Indonesia, you know that this part of the world, the Hindu culture is actually the dominating culture. So I noticed that a lot of you here are actually from shipping industry. Okay. This talk actually not so much on shipping, but on Singapore history, early Singapore history. Okay, the only thing that related to shipping is the 2 persons come to Singapore. I'm going to talk about come aboard the ship. Okay, that's all. So, you notice that there's a number there. That's the page number. So later on, if because of my accent or this thing, you don't understand what I'm talking, and you can mention the slides number, and then I will answer your question. Okay. So this topic is actually quite a big topic. So there are. Later on, you notice that it's going to be quite messy, a lot of information. So if you are lost, okay, just remember 3 things. Okay, I'm talking about places, two toponyms relate to one location, Singapore. So the 2 toponyms are赤土or Tanah Merah in Malay, or Red Earth in English. Okay, so the other toponym is Mo Luo Yü, that's Melayu. Not our Malay friend, but the kingdom, Melayu kingdom, during the 7th century. And the second thing that you need to remember is 2 persons. Okay, they are Chang Jun, the diplomat from the Sui Dynasty, and the other person is Yi Jing, a monk from the Tang Dynasty, 7th century also. So later on, and then the third thing is that I'm going to blow out a lot of evidence. So mainly the Paspanjang inscription, which is just about 50 kilometers away from us, okay, and from us now, okay, and there is a term called Sizhicheng, that's Lion City. It was missing in some of the edition in the historical report, okay, and I'm going to show it to you later on. So 3 things: places, people, and evidence. Okay, now we start to talk about this赤土. So where is赤土? There are many theories. Okay, actually, these slides spend me the most time to find out where are they. Okay, because I need to go through hundreds of paper just to find out all the theories. And basically, they are these few places. Siam is Thailand. Starting from Ming Dynasty, somebody, not a historian, but some writer mentioned that赤土was Siam. And then some famous historians pick it up, and then people start saying that Chitu was Siam. And then 19th century Westerner also picked it up and then said that Chitu was Siam. And later on in Kedah, someone found an inscription. It mentioned red earth in Sanskrit. So people start to come up with a theory that, okay, Kedah is Chitu, until someday someone asked why someone from Chitu write an inscription and then erect it in Kedah. Because if I'm from Singapore, I would travel 3,000 kilometers away and then erect a stone telling that I'm from Singapore and that place is Singapore. Not logical, right? So people start to find other theory. So there are Patani and then Malay Peninsula, northern Malay Peninsula. Basically, all these places are northern Malay Peninsula. So this theory is trying to be ambiguous because they're not very sure, so come up with an idea that northern Malay Peninsula. And then some Japanese researcher thought that Chitu was one of the locations in Sumatra. Another group of Japanese researchers think that it's opposite Sumatra, but along the Strait of Malacca. So, and then some Indian researchers think that is in this Sri Lanka and Borneo. So there are so many theories, hundreds of papers. So where is the actual location? So the main source of this Chitu is come from this particular passage in the book of Sui, that is the history of Sui Dynasty. So it mentioned who are they, okay, where the kings was living, all these things. So the author of this 赤土国记 was Yi Jing. Yi Jing is one of the most famous politicians in 7th century. And then he written the Sui Su, one of the very important historical record. And for most of us, Yi Jing is famous not because of his work, but because he is one of the characters in this Journey to the West. I'm sure you have watched the movie or the drama or the books, okay? He executed the Dragon King. Do you remember the story? So he is famous because of that story. Okay, for most of us, that's what he is. Okay, but he's famous actually because of he written the book of Sui. So what is it about? So in this book of Sui, there's a chapter called Bibliography of Chitu Kingdoms. So in this bibliography, it mentioned that the king's family names of Chitu, okay, is Chitan. Chitan is actually Gautama, the translation of Gautama. That is the surname of Buddha. So the king of Chitu actually have a surname of Buddha. Okay, one very important information. And the second information is that this king resides in Shen. Okay, and then after the sentence, he mentioned that the Shen have three gates. And 100 pace, pace that means 2 steps. So 100 pace that means about 150 meters apart. So each gate. And it also mentioned how Chang Jun traveled from China to Chitu. So it set out from Nanhai, that's Canton today, and then he moved to Da Nang. Da Nang is the naval base in Vietnam, very famous naval base in Vietnam. And then he passed by Jiaoshi is Da Nang, okay, and he passed by this Cham Island, and then overnight there, And he mentioned that opposite Cham Island is the city of Hoi An. Okay, at that time it's called Lin Yi. So after Hoi An, he passed by this Lion Rock. Lion Rock has a problem because researchers cannot agree where is it. Okay, but most of them agree that it's probably the Pattaya at Siam, Thailand. So after the Lion Rock, he reached this location called Lang Ya Siu, and most researchers agree that Lang Ya Siu is today's Pattani, very famous kingdom at that time. And after Pattani, he passed by this Keelung, not the city in Taiwan today, but an island in between Thailand and Malaysia today. So that is where the border of the赤土. At this stage, Chang Jun mentioned something important. He said the赤土king sent a fleet of 30 ships, 30 boats maybe, to welcome them. So what I'm interested is that how come the king knows somebody entering their territory? So they must have some very good information, either the port before or they already know someone is coming. And the king presented Chang Jun a golden lock. So, and the next question is why you need to lock a ship? So I think they are practicing some kind of thalassocracy kind of culture. They intercept ship. Okay, if you are friendly force, he will just bring you there. If you are not friendly, and then he probably will just do something with it. Okay, that's my guessing. Okay. So and he also mentioned that okay, there are a lot of information about how he was presented with gifts, and then who are the people they met, and then when everything done, the mission is done. When he going home, he saw this green fish flying over the sea surface, and then he saw this yellowish, smelly yellowish substance floating on the sea. So we are quite sure that this is the ship of this whale. Okay, it is actually very important commodity at that time. Even until today, it's still very expensive. Okay. So we know that he set out from Guangzhou, and then he reached this Lin Yi, Hoi An, and then he probably passed by at the southern tips of this Vietnam. We are still debating whether he went in or not, but we know that he reached here the last port in the territory of Siam, and then he entered the border, and he took 1 month to travel from the border to the capital. So some researchers think that he actually crossed the club to the other side of the peninsula, which I think is impossible because in 7th century or in the ancient times, you don't carry goods overland. Especially, because my specialty is ceramics. I know that if you are a businessman and you have 3 tons of ceramics, you carry it from this side of the peninsula to the other side, although it's maybe just 50 to 100 kilometers, but you end up 3 tons of ceramics probably left 1 ton, but it will break. And no businessman want that. And you imagine if you are carrying spice. After the rain, everything, all this thing, you are not going to have very nice consequences. So I think this theory is not really that accurate. So he probably just the businessman probably just will take a longer journey, but safer journey, go through the Strait of Malacca. So I believe Chang Jun did the same thing. he took 1 month to that. He didn't mention where is it, okay, but how long do you think you need to travel? So probably from here to end of the peninsula, okay? But I need to give you, I'll give you some, what's that called, evidence later, not now. And what is this about? Okay, the author is Chang Jun, okay? The book is lost, so the information that we got are from actually mainly from Sui by Yi Jing, just now the books that I mentioned just now. And there are a few other editions. I believe these 5 major editions, they come from the same source. The author of these 5 books, they still have access to the original source because the contents are very similar. Only a few sentences are different. And I'm going to talk about the few sentences that is different now. And it's written by Du Yu. Du Yu, this one, Du Yu, in his Tongdian. Du Yu is the Prime Minister of Tang Dynasty. He's also a historian. And his version of this赤土, there are 3 different sentences. The first sentence is about the king, where the king stay, the city the king stay. So he said, the king reside in the city of Shenzhi. Just now, I show it to you. In the edition of this Yi Jing, it mentioned that the king resides in the city of Shenzhi, and then it has triple gates, that's all. But you look at the version from Du Yu. It said, the king resides at the city of Shenzhi, that city, also known as Shizhicheng, Lion City. So for Yi Jing, he probably think that this is not an important sentence, so he just picked it up, didn't record it. But for people like us, we think that this is one of the most important sentence because it shows where this赤土was located, right? I'm sure you all know where is this Lion City, right? So the other sentence different is about the games in赤土. It mentioned that there's a 666 game. What is 666? This is a painting painted in Tang Dynasty, and this court lady are playing this chess game, and the title of this painting is 666. So this is 666. But 666 is not a Chinese game, it's not a赤土games, but it's invented in India. So an Indian game was played in赤土and Chinese court. Interesting, right? So the third sentence, which is different, is this. You see, at the winter solstice, shadows are directly below. This sentence has a problem. I will tell you why. And at the summer solstice, they fall to the southwest. There is during the summer, the shadow is southwards, but during the winter, it's directly below. This is impossible. Why? Okay. On the day of this winter solstice, that's 2nd of December every year, the sun is perpendicular to the south 23.5 degrees. If you are at this latitude, the sun, during noon, the sun is directly on top of you, so you have no shadow. That's what he means. Okay, but where is this location? Only Australia and Madagascar, the African island, Eastern African island. So Chang Jun, okay, I'm quite sure impossible. He won't be there. I'm quite sure. Okay, so we can basically rule out this sentence. But the next sentence is okay. The summer solstice is on the day of 22nd of June. The sun is directly above this 23.5 degrees. that is everything from Canton and Taiwan all the way southwards. It's quite a big area. So these two sentences actually don't give us any information. But, this is what I'm talking about just now. Okay, never mind. Okay, skip it. If this sentence is not about winter solstice, but about equinox, that shadow will fall directly under the person if you are located in Singapore. Okay, on the day 20, what's that? Spring equinox, that is about 20th of March, and for spring that will be 22nd of September. If you go out about 1 o'clock noon Singapore, the solar noon in Singapore is not 12 o'clock, it's 1 o'clock. So 12 o'clock is a political decision. 1 o'clock is the actual noon, okay? So if you, on these 2 days, if you go out 1 o'clock, you'll notice that you don't have shadow. Interesting, right? Okay. So I'm going to the next, also beside the missing lion city, the next evidence I'm going to show you is the Pasir Panjang inscription located at this Karimun Island. So the bibliography of赤土 mentioned that the king is, the surname of the king is Gautama, and Gautama is the surname of Buddha. And this inscription, just 50 kilometers away from where we are now, mentioned a monk called Gautama. Okay, there are 3 sentences here, and this is the alphabet. Okay. Okay, maybe we show you the location. We are now here. The location of the inscription is here. So basically, you can actually take a boat from here to Tanjung Pulai, and then you can take a taxi there. Okay, it's still there. So beside the inscription, there's this footprint. This footprint is important, and what is it? Basically, we thought that, basically researchers have mentioned that this is the Buddha footprint, and it's not just one, but a series of it. It's on the slope. Okay, these are all the footprints. Anybody can help me? Yeah, this is the one. Okay, so the footprint is actually because of this. Someone is doing abseiling, and then he noticed that the monk is actually just walking up the slope. I believe the footprint is actually because of this. Okay, so yeah, just to show you how this thing formed. Thank you very much. Oh, working now. We need him. Okay, so this is the video. Okay, this inscription. Okay, the wordings here, the 3 sentences here, is about this. Okay. According to the researcher, Brand, he tried to decipher it in 1880s, and he come to the conclusion that it's about the illustrious feat of the illustrious Gautama, the Mahayanis, who possess armillary sphere. What is that? It's an instrument that show you how the sun, moon, and star revolve around the earth. Okay, it is used for determine when the eclipse of the sun. So that means he's saying that on top of the hill there is actually an observatory. Okay, so this Cartwell strongly disagree. So he said that that is impossible to bring the instrument up there. Okay. From this sentence, we also know that Brand think that Gautama is not the Buddha. Actually, I agree with him. This Gautama is not the Buddha Gautama. Okay, it's another person, and this person is a Mahayanist. So, but I disagree with his second sentence. So, and his colleagues can mention that the Gautama is Buddha. So the third researcher believes that he strongly disagrees the instruments. So he thinks that the word is actually referring to Bengal. So his definition is that this person, this Mahayanist from Bengal, paying respect to the footprint of the Buddha. So this is basically what researchers agree on. But if there is a kingdom, the king have a surname Gautama, and he educated to become a monk. So why not he is the person who created the inscription? So that's my point. So the language of that inscription is Sanskrit. The character is Nagari. So for Brand, he did the inscription into 9th or 10th century. Kasparis did it to 11th to 12th century. And Christie did it to 11th to 12th century. And Caldwell did it to 10th to 13th century. That's a span of 400 years. So you see, to date an organic item, you can use the method of carbon-14. If you want to date ceramics, you can use the method of thermofluorescence. But stone, you can't. Okay, stone is not organic. And if you use a thermofluorescence method to test the date, you will come out of a date that maybe a few million years old, because there's a stone, the age of the stone, not the age of the inscription. So we can't use this method. So I come up with an idea to how to date the inscription. So I list all Malay inscription in this area from Sumatra to this Malay Peninsula to Borneo to Java, all Malay inscription with a date. That means the date is mentioned in the inscription. So I call this a datable inscription. So I list all the datable inscription and list the language that they use, list the character that they use. So around 5th century, 5th century, the language used is Sanskrit. The script used is Pallava. Pallava is the predecessor of the Tamil script. So the Asian Tamil scripts. Okay, so around this 7th century, the local here started to use Old Malay and Pallava scripts. So that means the colonial come, they brought their language, they brought their writing system. So after a few centuries, the locals started to use, they naturalized, and then they started to come up with their own language, use their own language, but they still keep the scripts. So this is something like British come to Singapore and then we start to use English, and then for 300 years, and then we come up with our own language, something like this, okay? So for over a century, at the starting of this 8th century, the local come up with a new writing system, Kavi script, and it lasts for almost a century, and the combination is Sanskrit and Kavi script, until about 8th century. There's a new language used for the data per inscription, that is Sanskrit with Nagari scripts. And so you see, it's very consistent. Sanskrit, Pallava script, and then Old Malay, Pallava scripts, and then Old Malay, Kavi scripts. And then suddenly, don't know what happened, there is a change of language system, use Sanskrit and Nagari. So, so my conclusion is that the Nagari and Sanskrit writings are actually belongs to around 8th century, and that is very near to the Yi Jing and Chang Jun visiting of Singapore. Okay, so I hope y'all accept my conclusion. Okay, and then there are some other things, like, for example, Yi Jing mentioned that in this Southeast Asia, there are a dozen of small kingdoms. Mainly, they are all Buddhist, but mainly Hinayana. Okay, only Malayu has this Mahayana Buddhism, and the scripts, the Kaliman scripts, 50 kilometers away from us, mention that the monk is a Mahayanist. So you don't have so much coincidence come into one inscription, right? Okay. So for first part of my talk, okay, we notice that there's a missing Lion City, okay, and then there's a loss in translation, probably, okay, and there is a Pasipanjang inscription, very solid evidence, and it mentioned the religion practice here, it mentioned the king's names, okay, so, and I did the piece of stones to it around 8th century, which is very near to赤土 and Yi Jing's visit. So the next part of my talk is about the Mo Luo Yü, the Malayu. Okay, there are quite a lot of material mentioned Malayu, okay, from 7th century to all the way to early 14th century. So they are mainly in the Tang Dynasty, the history of Tang Dynasty history, and the Yuan Dynasty history. There are some other sources like Indian sources like Chola inscription and Marco Polo, the Italian traveler. So, but because of these topics, I'm not going to touch on these two, but my books come in, it's going to have a lot of discussion on them. So, where is Malayu? In 16th century, 17th century, the map maker thinks that Malayu is located at Australia. Why? Because they just found the piece of land and nobody knows where is it or anything mentioned about it. Because, and Marco Polo mentioned that after Quanzhou, Marco Polo went to Java, and Malayu is after Java. So imagine you know where is Java, and after Java there is south of Java. Oh, Australia must be Malayu. So that is the starting point of the Malayu research. It's okay. I think that's normal. So, and later on, researchers suggested that Malacca is where Malayu located. But someone pointed out that Malacca is actually quite late. It started only about early 14th century or late 13th century, and early 15th century and late 14th century. So Marco Polo visited Melayu in late 13th century. So it's impossible, it's not Malacca. Okay, so people start to come up with some ideas. For example, Palembang, Kamba is east side of Sumatra. Minangkabau is the west side of Sumatra. Okay, Muratako, west side of Sumatra. Tanjung Balai and Belawan, east side of Sumatra. Asahan, Siak and Jambi, east side of Sumatra, and then Johor and Singapore. So these are all the theories. Okay, I took a lot of time to find all this thing out. And regarding the source of Melayu, the first one is from Yi Jing, Nanhai Jigui Ne Fa Zhuan. This is the one. So it mentioned that there are I showed you just now already, the 10 kingdoms. There are 10 kingdoms in Southeast Asia at that time. And he lists it from the west to east, okay? And from the west, the first kingdom, okay, one thing to take note, when he said west, it doesn't mean the direction on the compass west. He is referring to the trade route. From the first location of the trade route is somewhere in this, of South Asia is somewhere entrance of this Strait of Malacca, and then to the Singapore, and then to this Canton. So that is a trade route. That is what he mean by from the west to the east. Okay. So he said from starting the trade route in this Southeast Asia, the first location is Mo Luo Yü, and then the next one, the next location is Melayu. So if we can find out where is Mo Luo Yü, we actually can use as an indicator to show where Melayu is. So in another record from the history of Tang Dynasty, it mentioned that Srivijaya, okay, is governed by two capitals. Srivijaya have two capitals. So the west capital is known as Lang Barus. So Barus, Lang Barus. Mo Luo Yü, Lang Mo Luo Yü. So what is Lang? I've been working in Aceh. Lang in Aceh local language means inside. Li, inside. Chinese word Li, inside. So maybe coincidentally, in Tang Dynasty, the word inside referring to a block of about 500 meters times 500 meters in the capital. So it's actually a block. Inside is in a block. Okay, a area, a block. Mm-hmm. So this record in history of Tang Dynasty, it mentioned that Lang Barus, it has a very precise location. It mentioned that during the summer solstice, if you erect a pole 8 feet high, it casts a shadow of 2.5 feet. Okay, Chinese feet is decimal. That is divided by 10, not divided by 12. So it is okay if you erect a pole of 8 meter. That means the shadow is 2.5 meter. That's all. Okay, you can calculate it. And this location, there's only two possibility. Okay, either Aceh or Kedah, because with this height of pole and the length of the shadow, only one location that's along the north 5.5 degrees. And north 5.5 degrees, there are two candidates. One is Aceh, one is Kedah. Both have a very old, long history. Recently, Kedah found a Buddha statue, and I saw some of these guys are making fun of them because they don't believe that's that old. But I can very sure Kedah has a very, very long history, okay, much earlier than 7th century, okay, probably 4th, 5th century. Okay, so it is possible, either located in Aceh or Kedah. It doesn't matter which one, because what we need to know is that both cities are located at the entrance of Strait of Malacca. So they are the first landing point if you come from India. So what we want to know is that where is the second landing point, okay? So Yi Jing, in his another books, he mentioned that he traveled from India back. He stayed in India for 10 years, and then he come back to Southeast Asia, and he stayed in this Fosi or Srivijaya for another 6 years. So he mentioned that after setting off from India, he reached Kedah, and he waited for the wind for I think a year, and then he traveled southwards to Malayu. So from Kedah, he traveled 1 month to Malayu. And the most important sentence here, he mentioned that Malayu is also the location that transit. From there, you can go northwards to Guangdong. What does that mean? That means Malayu is the first exit point of Strait of Malacca if you come from India, right? And Yi Jing, next destination is Srivijaya, that is Jambi today. So we know that Malayu because a lot of researchers thought that Malayu is located at Jambi. No, can't be. But his second landing point is Malayu, and he went from Malayu to Jambi. Okay. So basically, he set out from India, and then he traveled to this Jiecha, that is Kedah, and then he waited there until the winter, and then he traveled here from southwards for a month to Malayu, and then he mentioned that Malayu you can turn off. At first he mentioned that going south, and then he said Malayu you can turn off. So you don't need to go all the way to Jambi to turn off, right? So I think that's quite logical. So the passage provides very accurate information about the location of Malayu. So I have mentioned that from Kedah to Malayu, and then the first exit point, and the first exit point of this Strait of Malacca should be Singapore, not Jambi. So one thing to mention, okay, the Polusi, that is the western capital of Srivijaya, control the entrance from the west, and Malayu is actually the exit of that same trade routes. So Srivijaya actually controlling two important locations. So I believe they actually position it, the two capital or two city at these 2 points. So it's not a coincidence or organic development. It's planned so that they can control the trade routes. Okay, that's my conclusion. Thank you.